What's up, guys? Eli here, back for another CD collection video. 10 more CDs to show and probably sloppily talk about. You may or may not, I don't know yet, you may or may not notice some differences with this video. I have been playing around with a little bit of editing, which I never really intended to do, but it is kind of fun. I guess I sold out. I sold out. God damn it. I do get kind of envious sometimes when I see people's videos that look really cool, and mine just look like they're recorded with a toaster from the 90s. So I don't know. You might see some editing. You might I haven't played with like the color touch-ups and stuff like that yet, but I imagine that's a thing. So maybe I can make even with my poor lighting, maybe I can make them look a little better. But also some other stuff. I don't know. I mean, I do this not to sound selfish. I do this for me first and foremost, and I'm lucky that any of you guys watch them and talk to me. So yeah, I figured you guys are watching them. I might as well at least make them look a little bit better. That part is for you guys. The actual recording process, I think, is mostly for me. It's kind of like even just what little artistic fulfillment I might get out of this. It helps a little bit, especially in times like right now when I have a lot of free time. So I've always wanted to dabble in a little bit of editing, but anyways, I'm ranting. I've gone too long. Let's get on with the music, right? So I am re-recording this video because I recorded it last night and it fucked up, so I had to delete it. And so I even had notes. I've been trying to take a little bit of notes, at least stuff that I don't remember offhand. Again, if you guys are gonna watch these, I want you to at least get something out of them. Some kind of information that maybe you didn't previously know. But anyway, I deleted the notes too, so I'm just gonna go off the top of my head like I mostly have done. So yeah, we're picking up where we left off last time, and that is with the classic German power metal band, actually, Helloween. This is their self-titled album from this year. You have probably heard it. You probably dig it. I've heard it, and I dig it. I've only listened to it once so far, and I've said before, I'm not the biggest Helloween fan, but I think they are masters of their craft. They are kind of like power metal. They're almost like the power metal Black Sabbath. There's that. And I definitely respect them for it. I have listened to their stuff for years and years, even if I don't own even a fifth of it. But this album is pretty good. I don't know where it's going to sit on my end of year list. I think you are going to see this on a lot of top tens, which is awesome for a band that has been around since the early 80s. That's fucking awesome. So good for them. One question I might have for you guys, because I don't know, as most of you do know, this album saw the return of their previous two vocalists that they've had in the past. Obviously, Andy Darris has been the vocalist for a long time now. But this album brings back Michael Kiske and Kai Hansen. Is that temporary? Is that just for this album and the tour, or are those guys like in Helloween permanently? I can't imagine financially that would be feasible. Paying two more guys when you don't have to. I can't imagine this being a long-term thing. But fuck, I don't know. I don't know how Germans think. Let me know. Let me know, guys. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Helloween guy, so I don't know all the facts behind the knowledge and so moving on. Number 2, we have a black metal band from Austria, if I remember correctly. We have their see, this is why I want to start taking notes, and this is why I tried to take notes. I think it's their third album. We're talking about the band Hellsaw with their third album, I think, entitled Cold. Came out in Europe and Spain. Okay, in US. I'm looking at I got a promo copy here. Came out in 2009. Hellsaw were one of those black metal bands, at least for me, where it's like you can listen to it, very listenable. Not raw production or anything. Pretty, I don't know if I want to say polished, but in the black metal world, fairly polished. Musicianship. They can actually play more than 3 chords, which is going to turn a lot of people off. I never loved this album, but I always kind of liked it. This is the Napalm Records cardboard promo. This is the only thing I've ever owned from them, and the only thing that I've ever listened to them more than once. So I have heard one or two of their other albums, and this is the only one that mostly stuck with me. So I don't know. They're one of those bands also where it's like, they've been signed to some decent sized labels, but you've never heard anyone like, fuck yeah, Hellsaw, my favorite band, or I don't know, are there any Hellsaw fans out there? I believe they started in I think 2002, and they broke up maybe around 2015, something like that. Like I said, I had notes, but I think I'm right about that. If not, I'm real close. So yeah, Hellsaw. Number 3, we have Meantime from Helmet. Came out in '92. That was their major label debut. They were their debut album was on Amphetamine Reptile, which kind of tells you a little bit about their sound, or at least their earlier sound. They kind of played like that noise rock. At least I always called it. Bands like early Melvins, Jesus Lizard, Unsane from New York. Helmet were I consider them one of those guys. Most bands on the Amphetamine Reptile label were kind of along those lines. That's just kind of what they did. So this was like I said, their major label debut, Interscope Records, by way of Atlantic. It even has the Amphetamine Reptile logo on the back of this, so I guess they probably licensed it. And they probably made it a good amount of money, because I think this album sold pretty well, if I remember correctly. Or at least decent, It probably didn't sell well for Atlantic standards, mainstream standards. I could be wrong. I don't know. I think it sold okay, because I think they stayed a major label band for a while. I think a couple albums in a row, I think they stayed major label band. I'm not super knowledgeable. I like this album. I like their first album, and I like maybe one or two that came out after this, and beyond that I just haven't heard. So I've never been the biggest Helmet fan, but I do like them from time to time. So yeah, Helmet, Meantime. Number 4, we're going back to Germany. Yeah, pretty sure Germany. Yeah, with some pagan black metal, we got Hellrunar with their second or third album, Baldur Ok Is. Why am I doing that? That's like one of my rules in this channel is I don't try to pronounce shit that's not English. And some things in English I shouldn't be pronouncing either. But anyways, Hellrunar, pagan black metal band, at least that's how most people refer to them. Very good. I think quite underrated. When this album came out, they were getting some attention. This came out on Lupus Lounge, not the smallest label for black metal even. And I haven't really heard much talk about them ever since, even though they have stayed fairly consistent. But this is the only thing I've ever owned from them, the only thing I've ever listened to more than once, and I really like this album. Dare I say it's even underrated. One of the most overused words in metal. But it's good. It's good. I mean, you saw that hype sticker. If you like Enslaved, early Enslaved, and even some of the later Enslaved, I think you really should check this out. So Enslaved fans especially. But, it says on here also fans of Bathory and early Ulver. That's all accurate, actually. So yeah, especially if you're into Enslaved, I think you should check out Hellrunar. Well worth your time. And the rest of these are all going to be from the same band. So where are we at? Number 5, we have the debut album from High on Fire. Oh yeah, I'm trying to work with my editing in mind as I record these. So anyways, pretend I didn't just show that. High on Fire with their debut album, The Art of Self-Defense. I've heard this years ago. I actually only bought this reissue recently. So originally released by Man's Ruin Records in 2000. This is the Southern Lord Repressing from, it says 2012. God damn, this thing must have sat in the record store for a long time. As I bought it, I had seen it in there for a while, and I bought it maybe a year ago. So yeah, it's digipack, digibook style. For what it is, not bad. It's kind of got this matte cover. Very black on brown, so hard to see. I think we all know who High on Fire are. It's got a nice booklet, by the way. It's stapled into the lots of pictures and shit. If you don't know much about High on Fire, they're kind of like a sludgy doom band, I guess let's just call it that, from Oakland, California. Matt Pike, guitarist and vocalist of the band, he was known for being in Sleep, the band Sleep, and I think at least on this first album he did kind of bring some of that Sleep influence, but they would shed it, and a lot of Hawkwind. This album was very Hawkwind influenced as well, so it wasn't a Sleep clone by any means. Never one of my favorite albums, and this re-release, by the way, has the bonus 7-inch from 2001, and it has their self-titled demo from '99, so that's pretty cool. It's a good album. I mean, it's a fan favorite for a lot of big fans of this band. Never one that even now that I own it, and before I owned it, it was never one I really wanted to listen to often. Though I do think it's good, I just never really went online to listen to it much. And now that I own it, I'm probably only going to listen to it once or twice. That said, it is a good album, and it's probably way better than how I'm describing it. But my favorite album from the band would be their second album, and this was my introduction to the band. We have the 2002 Relapse Records released, Surrounded by Thieves. I'm not huge into High on Fire anymore. I was 20 years ago. This is the album that I reach for whenever I want to hear High on Fire. This is the one I go for every time. I still think this is a really fucking good album. It just is. They took whatever was going on in that first album, and they would bring in more Motorhead influences, maybe more Black Sabbath influences. It's nastier, it's heavier, this album is just crushing. I think it's less Hawkwind and less Sleep sounding and way more, like I said, Motorhead and Black Sabbath, and it totally works for me. They would even add a little bit of thrash into their sound. I think that would come a little bit later, but this is my album. If I'm gonna listen to High on Fire, that's where I'm gonna go. Album number 3, I think this is the one, if I remember correctly. This is the one where I started noticing some thrash influences, like maybe just a little bit, some Slayer riffs. Bless Black Wings. Bless Black Wings. This came out in Relapse Records 2004. I was still very much into this band when this came out. So this is probably my second favorite. I'll still play it every now and then, but not very often. But it's good. This is the first album, I think, to see Joe Preston on bass. Pretty sure. Like I said, I had notes. Yeah, this is the first album with George Preston on bass. He was kind of a big name in like the drone doom, world. Bless Black Wings, Relapse Records, 2004. It's a good album. Like I said, probably my second favorite. I just remembered as I opened this, because I haven't in a long time, this is a double disc. I think it came with a DVD, and I don't know where that went. But I at least had that. So yeah, moving on to their fourth album with Death Is This Communion. Came out also on Relapse Records, I think in 2004. We're just going to go with that for now because I lost my notes. I've said that 20 times. I think it came out in 2004. I could be wrong. Now, this is a good album. I'm not going to get down on this one at all, but this is kind of where my attention to this band kind of started to wane a little bit. Like I said, I still enjoyed this album quite a bit, probably my third favorite. But yeah, my attention started to drift. I was listening to more other things. This is where I kind of started to drift away from the band. And that's not to say that they got worse or that their quality was dropping. That's not to say that at all. That's just to say my personal tastes were changing a little bit. I was still a young guy at the time. So yeah, Death Is This Communion, probably 2004. There you go. Anyway, yeah, good album. I might sound like I'm down on it, but I'm not. In fact, the next 2 albums that I have from them are also good. But again, I was still drifting away. Kind kind of slowly. 2010, so they would kind of take a bit of a longer break this time. I don't remember why, but yeah, we're looking at like 5 or 6 year break. And they would put out Snakes for the Divine. And in that time, you know, they would not only write an album, but they would sign to a bigger label. They would sign to E1 Entertainment, a bigger label with much bigger distribution than you know, Relapse or Man's Ruin ever could dream of. And they came out with this, and despite it being a major label debut, it's still a High on Fire album. Haven't listened to it in a long time. I remember really liking the first 2 songs, the self-titled, the title track, and Frost Hammer, really cool songs. So I do remember enjoying this, and I played it a decent amount when it came out. But like I said, I was just kind of drifting away. Now, the last thing I would ever buy from them, and probably will ever buy, and again, that's not to get down on the band. It's not like they started, you know, their quality started to drift, and I, you know, lost interest because of that. I just lost interest in this kind of sound, really. And I never listened to a lot of bands like this. This is one of those bands where it's like, there are other bands that sound like this, and I didn't listen to any of them. Kind of like Neurosis are the same way. Like, I like early Neurosis. Actually, not even early. I like the mid-period Neurosis. But I don't listen to literally any of the other bands that they influenced or played with, aligned themselves with, whatever. I didn't listen to any of them. And if I did, I wasn't into it. But I like Neurosis. So High on Fire are like that for me. So still on the major label, and they would only take 2 years this time. I guess they were on the right, you know, the path they wanted to be on. So 2012, they would put out De Vermi Mysteri. That's how I'll pronounce it. To be honest, this album I actually really liked when it came out. I felt like this was kind of, I don't want to say a return to form, but I felt like this album, to me, was stronger than the previous album, and maybe even the previous 2. So this album kind of took me aback a little bit. I still haven't listened to it in probably at least 5 years, but yeah, there it is. Cool cover art, right? Even the back. That might be even cooler. So yeah, very, very strong album by this band. And that is CD number 10. So we're stopping there, and that also coincidentally is where my High on Fire collection ends as well. So we'll see you soon. I had other stuff planned. I wasn't going to do this video this soon. I'm working on a new stuff video, but I've literally been waiting on one thing in the mail. One thing, and it's been fucking, I don't know, it's been over a week, and I'm still waiting for it. Really fucking annoying. So as soon as that comes in, I'll wrap up my new stuff video. There aren't going to be too many of those in the next month or 2, but I have a lot of stuff planned. I have time right now, and yeah, more time to kind of think about things. I've been doing a lot of movie videos. I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining. It does bum me out a little bit that they don't really get viewed, because I probably put a little bit more time and effort into them. So if you like horror movies and stuff like that, you know, check them out. If they're just not very good, that's fine. I get it. But yeah, so I got some more movie stuff coming, and I should be doing my end of year list. I think I have everything I need for that, so I'll probably do that in the next week or 2 as well. So look for those things if they sound interesting to you. If not, just play it by ear, right? Anyways, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Louis says hello. He's right over here. And cheers, guys. We will talk soon.